A flight attendant mocked me for being poor, not knowing I outranked every pilot on the plane. After 3 brutal days of flying between Asia and Chicago as captain, I boarded a flight home, on my own airline. I'd stuffed my pilot uniform into my bag and threw on some old jeans and a stained t-shirt. I didn't want to sit in economy for 5 hours dressed like I was still on duty. The moment I stepped on board, the lead flight attendant, Veronica, gave me a look like I was already her problem. She blocked the overhead bins and said in that fake sweet voice, "Premium passengers only. Economy waits." I politely explained I just needed to stash my bag real quick. She put her hand in my face and pointed me to the back. I took my middle seat and slumped down, exhausted. 20 minutes into the flight, I raised my hand for some water. Veronica walked past, leaned in, and whispered, "You'll get service when I think you've earned it." She made a point to serve everyone around me, going back for seconds, just so I'd notice I was being ignored. When she dropped some napkins in my row, I bent down to help and she stomped on my hand with her heel. Pressed down, then kicked the napkins away. The businessman beside me just looked out the window as I pulled my hand back. Red marks starting to show. An hour in, she came back with the water cart. She poured water for the row behind me, but tilted the pitcher just enough to splash my head, then moved on without giving me a drop. When it was mealtime, she actually announced, "Some passengers don't deserve meal service," and stared right at me. She served the whole cabin, then came back and dropped a tray of vegetarian lasagna from shoulder height right onto my lap, hot sauce all over my shirt. She shrugged and walked off like nothing happened. I pulled out my tablet to review some approach charts and she grabbed it from my hands. She showed it to another attendant, Rebecca, and they both laughed at my aviation apps before chucking it back at me, hitting me in the chest. Then she noticed my aviation watch. She yanked my wrist up, twisted it toward nearby passengers, and sneered. "Bet he bought this fake thing online to impress women." The grip left red marks. The insults got worse. She sprayed air freshener right at my face. Told people around me I smelled like unemployment and failure. Said I was probably on drugs. When I shifted in my seat, she made gagging noises and moved other passengers away from my row. I stood up just to stretch. She shoved me back into the seat and pinned my shoulder with her knee. Told Rebecca some people just don't belong in aviation. Then she saw the pilot wings pin clipped to my flight bag. She ripped it off, held it in the air like some big reveal, then bent it in half and threw it at my face. The metal cut my cheek. She leaned in and hissed, "You're nothing. You'll always be nothing." Then she stood up and announced to the whole cabin, "Security will meet us at 2DB is having delusions, claims to be a pilot." But then the plane shook violently. The engine roared. We were losing altitude fast. Oxygen masks dropped. Veronica stumbled, her confidence finally cracking. Then I heard it, the coded cockpit call for pilot incapacitation. With that, I stood up. She grabbed my shirt and yelled, "Sit down. You're gonna kill us all with your fantasies." I pulled my ID and license out of my bag and held them up. Her face turned white, her eyes locked on the badge and the gold stripes. "Captain. Senior training captain. 15,000 hours. On this exact aircraft." Those same hands she stomped on, fully licensed to fly her to safety. She staggered back speechless as I pushed past her toward the cockpit. I took the controls and landed the plane safely, while Veronica sobbed into the intercom, trying to explain to passengers that the delusional wannabe she tormented just saved their lives. At the gate, airline execs were waiting. They congratulated me and announced my promotion, chief training captain. I'd now oversee all flight crew standards across the airline. 2 weeks later, her termination paperwork landed on my desk. Attached was a barely legible letter, begging for a second chance. I signed it, no hesitation. She crossed every line of human decency. She never flew again. And I heard she can't even look at a plane now, without remembering the captain she tried to destroy.